The devil you never knew. What if I told you that one of the most feared and talked about characters in religious history never existed? That this horned villain who supposedly causes global suffering, tempts innocent souls, and plots against the Almighty is nothing more than a fictional scarecrow, invented to keep people obedient and giving money? Sounds outrageous. Maybe. But the deeper you dig, the more absurd the whole thing becomes. Let's talk about the devil, Satan, Lucifer, the fallen angel, the master of lies, and how this myth has been weaponized for centuries to control human minds, suppress critical thinking, and, of course, fill religious coffers. Satan, a convenient villain created to keep you in line. Most people never stop to question where the concept of the devil actually comes from. In ancient Judaism, there wasn't even a character called Satan with horns and pitchforks. The idea evolved over time, heavily influenced by pagan traditions and medieval imaginations. Religious institutions needed a villain, a terrifying force of evil, to contrast with their benevolent, all-loving deity. Enter the devil, the perfect boogeyman. He doesn't need to be seen, verified, or proven. He just needs to exist, in your imagination. And the more you're afraid of him, the more likely you are to stay inside the religious system, obey its rules, and fear leaving. Fear-based marketing, the oldest trick in the religious book. It's no secret, fear sells. And in religion, it sells better than anything else. Religious leaders have long used the devil as a fear tool to keep followers loyal. They say, if you stop praying, Satan will get you. If you leave the faith, the devil wins. This narrative creates a loop of anxiety and dependence. The logic is twisted. The same institution that tells you you're in danger is also the one selling you protection, in the form of faith, rituals, and especially, donations. It's like someone lighting your house on fire and then charging you for the hose. A smart devil, who acts like a fool. Now let's examine the character itself. Religious texts and sermons often portray the devil as a brilliant, cunning being, once the most beautiful and intelligent angel in heaven. Yet, this genius makes the dumbest possible decision, challenging an omnipotent, all-knowing creator. Seriously, think about that. If God is truly all-powerful and knows everything, then wouldn't Satan, with all his intelligence, realize there's absolutely no chance of winning? Wouldn't the smart move be, not to rebel? You don't need to be a genius to understand that fighting someone infinitely more powerful than you is suicide. But this supposedly brilliant being did exactly that. Is he smart, or is he delusional? Satan's one goal, tempting humans? That's it. According to mainstream religion, Satan's full-time job is tempting humans. That's right, this celestial being with supposed powers beyond comprehension isn't building galaxies, waging cosmic wars, or advancing knowledge. No. He's busy trying to get you to watch porn or skip church. That's the extent of his grand plan. Really? An entity so powerful that he can influence the minds of millions is reduced to whispering temptations into your ear while you scroll your phone. This is not just illogical, it's deeply disappointing storytelling. It's like writing a supervillain with infinite powers who spends his time flattening tires instead of conquering empires. The business of saving you from Satan. Let's not forget the golden part of the equation, money. Once you're convinced that Satan is real and he's after your soul, what's the next step? Saving it, of course. But not through logic, self-awareness, or therapy. No, through the church. And how do churches operate? With your donations. Tithes, offerings, seed faith giving, all supposedly used to fund your spiritual protection. The threat of Satan makes you feel vulnerable, and vulnerability opens wallets. This isn't faith, it's emotional blackmail. The devil is not just a theological concept. He's a marketing tool, a financial asset. When everything bad is Satan's fault. One of the most childish aspects of religious belief in the devil is the total lack of personal accountability it encourages. Did you cheat on your partner? It was Satan. Did you hurt someone? Satan made you do it. Are you addicted to something? Satan again. Blaming an invisible demon for every mistake or bad behavior allows people to escape responsibility. And religious leaders encourage this because it reinforces the idea that you constantly need spiritual guidance. The idea that you, a human being, are incapable of making mistakes on your own without demonic influence is not just insulting, it's absurd. No proof, no evidence, just centuries of storytelling. Let's get back to basics. No one has ever seen, touched, or scientifically proven the existence of Satan. Every description comes from myth, scripture, or visions by mystics, none of which hold up under scrutiny. There are no experiments, no DNA samples, no measurable phenomena. And yet, billions believe. If this were any other claim, aliens in your backyard, or a giant turtle under the earth, it would be laughed at. But because it's religious, people accept it without question. Faith in Satan's existence is not based on reason. It's based on emotional manipulation, ignorance, and centuries of repetition. Religion needs Satan more than it needs God. Here's a hard truth. Modern religion, especially the more controlling versions, rely more on the devil than on God. Why? Because God represents love, hope, and forgiveness, soft, gentle concepts. The devil, on the other hand, brings fear, fire, punishment, and urgency. And urgency gets results. It fills churches, sells sermons, and compels donations. In other words, God may win your heart, but the devil wins your attention. That's why sermons talk about Satan so often. That's why exorcisms are dramatized. That's why every disaster is blamed on demonic forces. Because fear is far more effective at control than love. Breaking free. Why you don't need to fear a fictional devil. So where does this leave us? With freedom. Once you realize that the devil is nothing but a character in an old book, a villain designed to scare you into obedience, you begin to take back your autonomy. There is no cosmic war for your soul. There is no demon trying to possess your thoughts. There is only you, your choices, your responsibility, and your potential to grow without fear. Let go of the myth. Question what you've been taught. Reclaim your mind. Conclusion. The real evil is ignorance. In the end, the devil's greatest trick wasn't convincing the world he didn't exist, it was convincing billions that he did. And that belief has kept people locked in fear, guilt, and submission for centuries. It's time to wake up. The devil is not under your bed or in your thoughts. He's in the stories used to control you. And once you stop believing in him, the whole power structure built around that belief begins to crumble. Reject fear. Embrace reason. And never let imaginary monsters steal your freedom again. Thank you for watching. If you found this video interesting or thought-provoking, please consider giving it a like, sharing it with others, and leaving a comment with your opinion. I'd love to hear what you think. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss future content. See you in the next video.